Welcome back in, everybody. Playbook expert, Reggie Harris. As I told you, we're going to start bringing you more and more content with guys that can really teach you about business, sports, branding. And I got one of my personal favorites today. This is going to be a treat for me as much as it is for you guys. This is one of those guys that when I'm having a bad day, I just pick up the phone and call because I know when I get off the phone, I'm going to be in a good mood after talking to him. So I got my good friend Jamie Dukes on here. For those that don't know you, let me give you a brief intro before Jamie starts talking. Jamie Dukes was an undrafted free agent of the Atlanta Falcons out of Florida State University, where he is currently a member of the Hall of Fame at Florida State University. Undrafted free agent in the NFL, lasted 10 years, played for the Falcons for 8, and then had a year in Green Bay and a year in Arizona. He then leveraged that from being an offensive lineman into a stint on the NFL Network. Yeah, Jamie, I'm going to ask you about 64 Cent. You know I got to go there. And then now he's currently on the radio, Sirius XM radio on the Mad Dog Sports Network, on a show that I didn't even realize this is called, let me look again, The Weekend Playbook. I didn't do that on purpose either, but The Weekend Playbook. Jamie Dukes is on Saturdays. You can find him from noon until 3 Eastern time. Welcome to the show, Jamie Dukes.
Thank you. Good to see you, old friend.
Yeah, man, it's been a minute. I wish we could do this in person again here real soon. We'll just see how everything shakes out.
Yes.
So first of all, Jamie, we talk a lot about branding with Playbook Expert. We talk about everybody who's trying to go to that next level. They're looking to achieve more success in business, sports, whatever lane they're in. But we always talk about the personal branding. So I mentioned 64 Cent because how does a guy go from being an undrafted free agent lineman to having his own show on the NFL Network and then being on Sirius? Can you just give us a moment about that journey of Jamie Dukes?
Well, it really just kind of boils down to who you are. I'm just not one to quit. You go back to my college days and 4-time All-American, didn't get drafted. Didn't get drafted because I was short, shorter, than what they wanted you to be. And so I've just always, I guess I call him a chip guy. Aaron Rodgers is a chip guy. He always got that thing on the chip, that chip on the shoulder. And I've always had that kind of drive me and fuel me because, I've always recognized that, in truth, there's really nothing you can't do if you put your mind to it. Now, the other part of that is that you've got to put yourself into something that you can do. And something that, if that makes sense, is within your abilities to do and being realistic. And so for me, it wasn't unrealistic that after post-playing that, I wanted to get into media because I did have a gift as a communicator with people. And so as time went on, those opportunities presented themselves. I was willing to work for free. So one of the things I always tell people is, if you're in it for the money, you're going to have a problem because you're not going to be compensated for something you want to do when you're starting and you're doing something that you want to do. Now, there's a difference between you as a ball player. You're playing ball. But when you, let's say, go into the real world, now it's not about playing ball. It's about you're looking to pursue an entrepreneurial activity or a job. And that's a different pursuit that you have to pour yourself into just as you have to pour yourself into it as a player.
Absolutely. So, Jamie, let me ask you a question. I remember on many moons ago, we had conversations about kind of having that chip on your shoulder when you're going through the draft process and you're having people tell you you're too short and that type stuff. So for those who are tuning in, let's go into the mindset that you have to have being an entrepreneur, because we're going to talk about some of your entrepreneurial ventures as well, where I know you have been told many a times that you aren't going to be able to do what you're doing. Tell me a little bit about your mindset.
Well, it's I'd love to, get, quote Socrates, Freud, but it really kind of goes back to this little book, that every child could read. It was the story of the little engine that could. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. There's no sense in going any further than that. And that's kind of how, you know, what I've set my sights on is just the ability to, I just believe in myself. I've always said in ball players like this, I'm always bet on me. I'm not going to bet on anybody else, but I will always bet on me. That's kind of how I'm built. Deion Sanders, now we talk about that all the time. I'm always bet on me. I don't know about somebody else, but I'm always bet on me.
That's great. You bring up Deion. You've played with some great guys over the years, and I'm sure you've learned some of the marketing and branding also by being along with them, and you probably taught them a thing or two along the process. Who's some of the best guys that you were around from that branding of their own personal self?
Well, I think that, you know, Deion is the best, and it's the best story when you think about, you know, as you can tell, I'm busy. That's why you hear all of those emails coming in. When you think about, because I'm about that business, guys, take a little break, because the business, that's what the big, but the point is that Deion's vision was this, and it was touching, you know, like I said, I've known him since he's 17. He and I are brothers. Biblically, we have kind of a David and Jonathan type relationship. You know, while I'm the elder, you know, we're just, you know, very knit together from that standpoint. And you know, the thing that we always talk about is making sure that you find your thing. Everybody's got to find their thing. And you got to look, you got to dig, you got to wrestle with yourself. Got to wrestle with yourself to really get a clear picture of what you can and cannot be.
That's a very good point. So you've been able to now leverage Pro IV, and I'm not going to move completely off of the branding topic, but I know you do a lot of things to help other ball players as well, and some things that you're really passionate about. Tell everybody about Pro IV, because that's a good business story as well as a good, you know, staying in your lane and helping out.
So, you know, Pro IV, we developed a treatment, an opiate alternative. And so the essence of it is to, you know, we as ball players are subject matter experts, not only in the area of pain, but also addiction. You know, the biggest issue in the National Football League, you know, or in sports, or really the National Football League, is obesity. And then secondarily to that, you know, or let me rephrase that. The most damaging issue to the NFL is obesity. There are certainly more players that have opioid issues. Because what the obesity has done is that's led to fatalities from guys just being too big, heart attacks, so on and so forth. The opioid side of this thing is something where, whether it be receivers, running backs, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, it's a lot more pervasive. And so this treatment, what it does is non-opioid, non-steroid, non-addictive, 97% all natural. The insurance companies are accepting it. And so, you know, we're just basically trying to work with players and look at strategies whereby we, you know, introduce them as brand partners, if you would. And that's really kind of the essence of the strategy is to allow a former player to be able to operate in their space where they were and be effective.
Okay. Good deal. And I know you've worked with some guys. We've seen Deion, we've seen Brett Favre, Michael Vick, some of these other guys that have participated with you in this project and been able to learn and grow in that area. You hadn't said anything to me yet congratulating me on the Super Bowl for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, man, brother, let me just tell you. First of all, I do, you know, congratulations. You know.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't know I had to congratulate fans of the team. I generally congratulate the players, but it's the first time for everything. But congratulations. Boy, I got to tell you, that just, you know, Andy was one of my former coaches, as you know. And so for me gosh, it really kind of reminded me of Bobby Bowden. You remember, your favorite coach,
Right.
where, it took Bobby, I think it was 25 years before he won a national championship. Now, he might have finished in the top 3 7 times, but winning a national championship, it took him a long time. And I don't have the words for the excitement when you look at, Andy Reid and what he's kind of gone through, with his sons and the kind of guy that he is, just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful man. And then that quarterback. I just want you to think about this for a second. Just think about this. So the quarterback for your team, that's your team, I guess, it's Kansas City Chiefs, right? That's the team I was congratulating you about, right?
Right. My team, yeah.
He had the worst game of the year in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Think about that for a second. That's his worst game of the year.
Yeah.
He won a Super Bowl. It's just, wow. It is just fun. It is fun.
So I bring that up because you're talking about some of the things that go on with Pro IV and the different things, and I knew you and Coach Reid and had a good relationship, and you talked about some of the issues. So when these guys are at that top of the heat and they're winning the Super Bowls and they've got that attention, how hard is it now for a Coach Reid to take that to his branding? Patrick, we see him right now. He took a smart route. He didn't do a lot of endorsement deals that first year. He started doing more of them this year. Now, obviously, he's got the Super Bowl, so it's off the charts. But how hard is it for those guys to understand, hey, let's capitalize on this now while we're current and while we're hot so that when we retire, we can follow in Jamie's footsteps?
Well, Jamie came by a little different path. I would say this. We're in a different environment now where that is kind of the norm. So the key part is now is become, all right, win a Super Bowl or excuse me, my moment, my moment. How do I leverage my moment? So that comes to me to surrounding yourselves with smart people, smart representation, having a plan, or you might have to go grassroots, but at the end of the day, the key part of it is making sure that you're comfortable being out there, because everybody's not comfortable in leveraging that brand. Because once you leverage that brand and get out there, keep this in mind. People are watching. And now we got social media. So everybody, you got to be disciplined, in my opinion, to be out there. And social media is a part of it, and not having the entrapments of some flippant tweet. Because when you do get your moment, then they look up something you've said, you've been eliminated before you can get started.
That's a really good point. And part of it, so my team, that you can congratulate me when we win the championship of the IFL someday.
Yes.
Yeah. Someday. I guess I should say today, but someday you'll congratulate me.
Hey, do like Florida State did, man, with basketball. They declared themselves the national champion.
Hey, there you go.
The legislature declared them national champion, so we're basketball school now.
Well, I guess, we finished in the Final Four because we're one of only 4 teams that played this season. So going with that mantra, we could say that. But we have players at our level that also utilize social media, that they do some of their own personal branding. And I always tell people, no matter what level you are, you have a story to tell. It's a matter of being able to tell it, being able to frame it in a way that you are able to get benefit off of that. You have any suggestions on ways for guys to improve their skills or their tools, if that's something that they aspire to do?
So the thing I always tell, number one, you can always say whatever you want once. I'll say that again. You can always say or tweet whatever you want to say or tweet once. And then that one time that you tweet something might be the end. But what I would say is that the key to this is that, you know, from the standpoint of leveraging oneself is being able to manage oneself. You're going to have to be able to manage your profile. You're going to have to be able to discipline yourself. In this day and age, to me, it's all about discipline now. You know, Reggie, when I was playing the ball, God knows that we had social media then. LT may not have ever been LT. He just may not have ever been LT. I mean, it just might have been, you know what I mean? Just that's just, you know, so we're in a different day in a different environment. Now, I don't want to be hypocritical, but what I can say, though, is know that what you say, what you do with these things right here, what you say and do is just a whole new level. And one little could end it all. And that's where, you know, it's just critically important that we have to be if you're trying to have a public brand and persona leveraging something, okay, it's a shame that it has to be this way, but it has to be this way if you want to be successful at it. Look at all the Me Too situations that are happening because people got caught. They got caught when nothing was, you didn't have cameras. The Weinsteins and all, you know, so now you get one chance, Ray Rice. You get one chance. You with me?
That's very poignant and very specific too. I mean, you get one chance to make a mistake. You get one.
That mistake. You can make a lot of mistakes, but you can make one mistake once, Ray Rice. And I'm not picking on Ray. I'm just saying, wonderful young man, wonderful couple, didn't know how to handle their collective anger management issues. And that one moment ended what would have been a very good career once. And so we are in that environment where anger and temper, for the guys that are in high school, whatever, you don't have the opportunity to have the girlfriend call the police on you. You don't have there are things that have to be done that we're just in a different environment, and you've got to know that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on here, Jamie. We're going to wind down, and this is kind of get you final thoughts on something. On Playbook Expert, we always tell guys to create that playbook for themselves so they know what they're going to do depending on what situation comes up. And I always say that we work off of what you want, being work, attitude, network, team. You got to be able to look at those things in order to see how to be successful. You need those 4 ingredients. Am I missing something that you would add to that to encourage guys to go after what they want?
I would say one category would be beware of frenemals. Frenemals. 3 types of frenemals. When we look at the mistakes and failures in our life, this is 1,000% accurate. 1,000% accurate. When we look at the mistakes and failures, 1, if not 2, if not all 3 of these frenemals are at play. Frenemal number 1 is family. Whether intentional or unintentional, family can be guilty of enabling dysfunctional behavior. Only mama can provide tough love. Frenemal number 2, these are friends, coworkers. These are people in our inner space, smile on our face, stab us on the back. They're not bad people. They just want what they want. You get married. You used to hang out with the boys. Now they want you to hang out with the boys. Well, no, you got married. Your wife met you out with the boys. That's counterproductive to the wedding. You're not trying to end the person's wedding. And then I'll move on and say frenemal number 3. And this is the most dangerous of the 3. This is the friend that's the enemy on the inside. This is the voice that speaks to us. The reason it's so dangerous is the voice, to go back to what we talked about earlier, it's the voice that encouraged us when others said we couldn't do something. So what I would say is that what we always have to be wary of is be wary of frenemals. Now, frenemals is not a bad thing because we all have them. But the most important thing is we got to know that they're there and that they exist. And, and so my point would be is that what I would say is that I always recommend people have an understanding that these forces are there within us and around us, and nobody's bad. You're not a bad person. They're not a bad person. People want what they want, and sometimes it's not in your best interest.
I love it as you get more dings for those business opportunities coming at you. As you're talking, you get more business and business just because you're encouraging people like that. I love it. Jamie, we appreciate you coming out and talking to us. I'm sure you've been able to help inspire and motivate some of our guys that are tuning in to find out different ways to better themselves and get more educated. Right now, being on lockdown, some of us have more opportunity to take advantage of these opportunities to learn and grow, and that's what we're here for. And we're glad that you're able to share some of that content with us. We may have to do a whole show on Frenemals, though, now that you think about it. That might be a good segue for you.
Yeah.
But for now, you've been checking out Playbook Expert, and we're going to keep bringing you more and more content and sharing more guys like Jamie Dukes that I love to have on. And he's, like I say, he's one of the guys that I go to when I need advice or when I just need somebody to bring me back into alignment and reality. So we appreciate Jamie. We're going to take off on this one, and we'll see you guys next time on Playbook Expert.